Welcome to this week's episode of the Lokar Car Show. We're in Florida soaking up the sun on the Emerald Coast for Destin's burning up the beaches. Nick Carr has several vehicles in his collection, but says he turns a lot of heads in his 1959 El Camino.
Well, I was looking for something unusual, and I found this one in San Antonio, Texas. It was equipped as a low rider at the time, and I took it back to stock. Well, actually, the 59 El Camino was the first year they were built. And they were built out of General Motors built them from a Brookwood station wagon. And they tooled up all the special parts then to build the pickup. The Chevrolet at the time, as I understand, was selling a lot of pickups to men. And they actually designed this to sell to women.
Jim Ward found himself in need of some car therapy, so he searched around, and in a barn in Florida, he found this 1968 Chevelle SS 396. He knows it's just what the doctor ordered.
I was back in the old cars, back in my high school days. I was one of the youngest cruising directors of the Swanee River Region AACA Car Club in Lake City, Florida. So I decided to go back to something that used to make me happy and found this old Chevelle in the guy's barn. He wasn't using it, so I decided to grab it up and start restoring it. It was in fairly good shape. It had, the common metal problems, common metal work that needed to be done. It had the vinyl top on it at one point, so a lot of that metal underneath the vinyl top had to be replaced. And, normal stuff around the doors, bottom of the fenders, bottom of the doors, and all that had to be taken care of. It's got the original numbers matching 396 motor, but it's been bored 40 over, so for a 40-something-year-old motor, I mean, that's pretty good.
Let's hear about this year's show and Arc of the Emerald Coast from John Roper.
The Arc of Emerald Coast is a nonprofit agency that serves people with disabilities, both intellectual and developmental disabilities. We do that with a passionate board and a passionate staff, and like all nonprofits, you have to have fundraisers. This is our 7th year to do Burning Up the Beaches. We're going to bring in all 300 cars this year. And you got staff out here volunteering to do this, but at the end of the day, the money's raised goes back to our clients and it serves them, so it's very important to us. Every price range, they're from all over the United States. They come in, this is our 7th year. We got cars walking in and go, this is our 7th year to be here. They love the car show. It's kind of organized chaos. It all comes together perfect because of the staff that works it. They know what they're doing, and we try to treat, the people in the car show great.
Kenneth Applin came across this 1966 Ford Mustang that he bought for his wife on Facebook. Restoring cars has since become a hobby for the whole family.
We have actually found this car on Facebook about a year ago. My wife has always been a big Mustang fan. Found it on sale on Facebook and went and purchased the car for her. The car was in decent shape. It needed some repair work done to it. The interior needed work, a little bit of engine work. Other than that, some chrome work done on it. Other than that, it was in pretty good shape. It's got plenty of pickup and horsepower, good acceleration, drives and handles better than the average Mustang back in the 66. But it's definitely got plenty of horsepower to go. I've got a 12-year-old daughter that's crazy about old pickup trucks, and have a son that's crazy about Mustangs and Jeeps, so we're all a car family.
We spent a few minutes talking to Blake Carter from Suncoast Performance to get his thoughts on this year's car show.
Burning Up the Beaches is one of the many ways we try to give back to our local communities. It's a great show and it's a great environment. There's a lot of camaraderie here with the different vehicles and the different people, and one of the beautiful things is no matter who you are or where you're from, you have one common interest, and that's the love of vehicles and the love of automobiles. Suncoast is primarily a manufacturer of high-performance transmissions and transmission components. We also manufacture torque converters for both the gas and diesel industries.
We'll be right back with more amazing cars on the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. The Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group, is brought to you by Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener, Brothers Truck Parts, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GM truck restoration. Original Parts Group, world-class restoration parts, Lokar performance products, quality, plain and simple. This rare 1974 GTO stayed in the family when Edmund Gray bought the Pontiac from his son.
I bought it from my son. When he was in school back in 1978, he wanted a car and he saw this by the side of the road. And so he bought it. And in 1986, after he'd gotten married and they had a child, they wanted to buy a van. So I bought it from him. I bought it from my son in 1986. We were living in Rhode Island at the time, so we drove down. He was living in St. Petersburg. So we drove down and towed the car back up north and put it in the garage and pretty much stayed there most of the time. I really didn't know what I had at the time. So I started doing some research to find out this was the last year of the GTOs. They made 5,335 of them. The only restoration I had to do was the rear fender wells were rusting out and I had those replaced. Up to 350, it's probably pushing maybe 230 at the crank. Oh yeah, it'll get up and move. It came with a Saginaw 4-speed and I upgraded that to a Terminate T5, which gave me the overdrive. So now when I get it into 5th gear, 2,000 RPM, I'm doing 75 miles an hour.
This owner has a love for the bigger cars and lead sleds. Dwayne Jennings says he's always wanted a 1947 Buick Roadmaster.
Just about everything on it. It's been chopped 3.5 inches. The back end's been widened 4 inches on each side. It's got a tilt front end. It's been lowered. It's got a big block 454. The colors on the car are Mango Tango and a root beer on top. Well, we drove from Evansville, Indiana down to here, so we drive them. Highway driving, we drove 600 miles to this show, first time we were here. Having a good time, too. Car people are the best people in the world. I mean, you meet so many people from different areas of the United States. It's just wonderful.
Steve Reynolds has always been into cars and decided he wanted a car that was already restored when he chose this 1948 Fleetmaster sedan.
We take it everywhere. This is not a trailer queen. It's got its share of rock nicks and scratches, but we say drive them. And I drive it about 15,000 miles a year. We drove 802 miles from Indianapolis to get down here for the show today. In another 3 weeks, we'll be up in St. Paul, Minnesota. So I'm part of a group out of Evansville, Indiana called Evil Iron. And we put on the Frog Follies once a year, every year in August. And we'll draw about 4,000 pre-49 cars. So no, when I got this car, it had a lot done to it. It's got power steering, power brakes, automatic transmission, air conditioning, 10 CD changer, XM radio, 6-way power seat, it's got it all. This car show, of course, it's a great benefit, and they've done a really good job over the last couple of days. The venue's great, the weather's great. Again, the cause is great. It's a good show, and quite frankly, we're surprised at the turnout. There's a lot of cars still coming in.
It's time for Lokar Lowdown with Kevin Ford.
Hi guys, I don't want to bore you with just another plain old shifter. So I want to tell you about our new electronic bump mode shifter. Anybody that's got a new car has probably seen you pull the shifter back, you bring it over, now you can manually shift and hot rod it whatever you want. Well, it's becoming more and more popular for guys to drop 6L80 and 6L90 transmissions, as well as the Ford versions of them, into their muscle cars and some of their trucks and stuff like that. Up until now, they haven't had a solution to maintain that bump mode shifter other than say maybe a paddle shifter or a switch or something like that. What we wanted to do was develop a shifter that actually gave you all the same features and benefits of a Lokar shifter, safety-wise, still got a lockout button, but still give you that fun feeling manual shift mode. So at SEMA in 2016, we introduced this shifter, and it won a runner-up award for Best New Product. We were extremely excited about it, and we got a lot of attention out of it because so many guys are moving to this shifter. It's real simple. It pulls back just like any other shifter. You pull it over, and now you're in a bump mode for manual shifting. Come back over, you're back into your regular automatic mode, and you can go about your day. You got your park, reverse, neutral, just like anything else. Right here is the first production unit. That's why there's no zinc on it, but we're ready to ship these. They're being assembled now. So come see them. Check us out on our website at lokar.com.
Welcome back to the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. John Coltharp loves to drive his 1933 LaSalle limo so much, he told us if you see one of these on a trailer, call 911 because someone stole it.
I got a 392 port fuel injection. Well, we're always working on it. It's something all the time. We change this and that. We got a 411 gear in it and a 704 transmission. And of course, we're equipped with air conditioning. And we got air ride. So we're pretty well comfortable wherever we go. I like it. It's the first time we've ever been here. We like to go to different car shows that we hadn't been to before, so we like it. They're nice cars. We didn't know the facilities up here, so we stayed in Panama City and going back and forth. We spent the day up here yesterday and come back today, and we've really enjoyed it.
Jerry Nesselhut says he and his friends robbed banks, and that's how he got the money for his 1930 V16 Cadillac limo. Well, we don't know about that, but it sure would make a great getaway car.
This, I bought mine, it come out of Philadelphia. The second one was bought out of Bristol, out of West Virginia. And the end one, the LaSalle, come out of Indiana. They needed a lot of help. Except the middle one, the V12, had 11,000 original miles on the car. The rest of them, the one on the end, the LaSalle limousine, was redone, but John, my friend, had to completely redo the car. I'm not that smart. I have some very talented people that help me or do it. And it was about a 7-year project putting it back together. This one has a 6.0 engine, has a 411 gear, a 4L60 automatic overdrive with 33-inch tall tires, and it weighs 6,000 pounds and is 20 feet long. Well, 2 years ago, me and my friend John got to LaSalle. We drove them almost 18,000 miles, went through 22 states. What got me interested in cars, my dad worked for GM and retired, and there were 7 kids at home, and we always had to help him work on old cars. And I said, when I get grown, I'm gonna buy me a new car. So I got grown, bought me a new car. Then the love was old cars. So we started, and I said, well, I want something a little different. So I like the big cars, I like the Cadillacs.
Original Parts Group Restoration Tip.
Are your factory original taillight lenses fogged, clouded, or cracked? Today from Original Parts Group, we have these beautiful 1969 Chevelle taillight lenses. Manufactured exclusively by OPGI, they feature correct factory markings, left-hand and right-hand markings, and are manufactured in beautiful red acrylic plastic just like factory originals. They feature correct GM contours and are guaranteed to fit exactly like factory. Not only do we have these beautiful 1969 examples, but we feature 1970 taillight lenses, just like the car behind me, and any other El Camino or Chevelle taillight lenses you may need. You can find these parts and thousands of others at opgi.com.
We'll be right back with more amazing cars on the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. The Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group, has been brought to you by National Parts Depot. Make your dream happen. Appalachian Tourism. Virginia is for lovers. Croftgate USA, the only car care product you will ever need. Advertising Edge, the official uniform of the NHRA. Because he has a love for all things odd, Harold Horowitz spent 2 years restoring this 1970 Ford Ranchero.
Today I've brought my 70 Ford Ranchero. It's a 500 series with this GT hood, 351 Cleveland, C4 transmission. It's a fun car. It was rebuilt in my garage with the help of my brother-in-law. It's not the perfect, but it's a lot of fun. Everybody says, oh, that's an El Camino. No, but a lot of people aren't aware that Ford actually made Rancheros, or a version of the El Camino, if you call it. I'm one of those people that like to have things that are different. So yeah, I'll end up with a 66 T-Bird convertible, a lot of work. 70 Ford Ranchero, which is not often you see many of them. And I also have a 36 full classic Ford. But you know, I'm kind of person that likes odd things. I needed something to keep my mind off of things, and so I decided to put myself into building a car. And when I got this, it was almost a car. So I spent 2 years working on it, fooling with it, new body work, engine rebuild, transmission, paint, and interior, and it helps you get through times, keep your mind busy. So I enjoy. Plus I enjoy go to a lot of car shows. My friends go. We all travel together.
This grandfather and grandson both love coming to the car shows together to see all the different kinds of cars in their 1930 Ford Tudor.
The top is out of a 76 Astro van. The dash on the inside is out of a 1959 Chevrolet, which has been cut and fit to the width of the car. She has a 454 with 429 heads on it, and the compression ratio is at 13:1. It's got a thump to it, and that's the nickname of the car, is Thumper. I can't see a whole lot because I'm paying attention to where I'm going with this thing, because it will get away from you at one point. That's my grandson. That's Walker Johnson. I don't own any cars. I have a 1929 Chevrolet Street Rod, but he claims all of it.
I just love to come to car shows with my granddad. You get to see all kinds of different cars, like Camaros, Corvettes, and lots of Chevrolets. This is my favorite car behind me. It's a 1930 Tudor TUDROR. The big loud engine in it, 454. When he mashes on the gas going to it.
Jack Quillen and his wife love enjoying the scenery while driving around the country to various car shows in their 1934 Tudor sedan.
It's a fiberglass car. We purchased it up in New York. Interesting history of the family that built this car for a man. It was sitting up for 8-9 years in storage, air-conditioned storage, and I went up there and they finally decided to sell it, and I can't say I stole it from them, but it was a pretty good price. And we've enjoyed it. My wife and I have enjoyed it. We've gone to all of these shows, mostly down on the Gulf Coast with several friends. We all have motorhomes and the trailers, and we drag our beauties behind us and just have a good time with all the people at these shows.
Bill Decamel was in search of an older car for retirement when he found this 1946 Ford Coupe.
I got this car, bought it from a gentleman that had it done, but he had some problems with it, couldn't keep it running. And I wound up buying it from him, and then we redid all the mechanical work and the drivetrain and got it to where it was dependable. It's a great ride. We drive it a lot. We put a lot of miles on it. We put at least 15,000 miles on it in the last 8 years or so. Yeah, it's all car shows, except sometimes we take trips and We just bring the car with us, tow it behind the motorhome, use it for transportation. Because we'd rather drive an old car than a new one.
Each week, Croftgate USA Car Care Products picks the best of show from the Lokar Car Show. This week's award goes to Dave Warrington and this beautiful 1971 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Well, it's interesting. My brother-in-law had this car up in Buffalo about 10 years ago, and my wife's very first car was a 72 Cutlass Supreme. So we bought it from my brother-in-law. Looked like it was a Buffalo car, a lot of rust, bad paint job, top was ripped, and we decided to completely restore it. We drive it as much as possible. It's not a trailer queen. We want to enjoy the car, especially down here in Florida. We're down permanently, and we did the Key West Power Cruise last year, which was a riot. We decided to do more of these kinds of events where we're cruising with our cruiser club, Ocala Street Cruisers. Ride's great. All brand new suspension parts. No problems at all. Rides down the road real smooth. It's just a great cruiser.
And that's all for Burning Up the Beaches here in Destin, Florida. Thanks for soaking up some sun with us and enjoying these classic cars. Join us next week as we make our way to Tennessee for Pontiacs and Pigeon Forge.